Making mistakes, take one.
Oh, mate, you could have done a gag there, couldn't you?
Well, you know what? I think we're doing pretty well because everything has been a take one. There's been one take.
Well, no, but that's the assumption that what we're saying is going to be useful. When they get a look at the rushes and realise most of it's shit, it doesn't matter, it's the first take.
Yeah.
So part of the reason this section exists is often people will say to me, you're lucky you have these clients, you're lucky you get to do this work. And at the other side, people say, how do you start an agency that can do this? And the reality is, when you start the agency, the first decision you make is already determining what you'll be in the future. And the first year goes like lightning. You're just like, wow, that was super fast. And you turn around and then in the second year, like, so now what do we do? And then if you want to remain relevant, you suddenly go, well, what have we learned and what's missing? And you add things that are missing and you stop doing things that are holding you back. So I think a lot of it is regular checks and balances, really. Just thinking about, well, I don't like doing that. It doesn't seem to work. Or we did this and people didn't like it. So you go, like, why don't we stop doing that? And why don't we try something new? And then from there, having open and regular explicit conversations where you just talk about things with people and say, well, what do you think? And you go, oh yeah, maybe that didn't work out. Or maybe I've got this hankering to do this particular thing. Or maybe all the work feels the same. How do we change that? Those types of things. So I think it's a constant rhythm to check where you are and what you'd like to be doing.
Yeah, it's once you start, you can't stop. Really, it's something that you have to believe in. I mean, for us, it's almost everything. It's life, and so I think when you create a business, there is the commercial reality of running that. So making sure you have enough coming in that supports everything that's going out. Those basics are critical, and I think you can make the mistake, as I says, of just focusing on the work and all that stuff sits on the side. We are lucky because we've got each other to feed off and also ask those questions of. If you're on your own doing it, fair play to you for actually making that step. And I think that's when you have to look inward and find your own strengths to push forward and surround yourself with people that can inspire you and help you. But I think some of the challenges or the missteps might be that the work that you get starts to define who you are, and then you forget who you wanted to be. So going back to that and figuring out and reminding yourself, hang on a minute, I started this company to do this, and now I'm over here. How do I course correct? So I think remembering that you have an element of control on your destiny if you're running a business, that's critical.
But it needs to feel this thing. Hello.
Who is it?
No idea. So should we try?
And again, if you take the pressure off yourself initially, and this applies to careers as well as running agencies, and just in the moment go, what do we really want out of now? And it means you can control things better. If you're trying to think about everything you might do, it can get very overwhelming. Whereas if you say, right, in this particular moment, I just need to be brilliant at this particular thing and go after it, you can build to where you're going. And that's how my career, his career, and the agency has grown.
Yeah, it's
lots of small things that create something larger.
Exactly. Steady and persistent.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you're unsteady and...
Yeah, that is important, actually. Just on that point, is that it's not a smooth ride. There's going to be turbulence along the way. So I think people may see anyone who's either made a success or built something and fast forward to that moment and go, well, how do I do that now? Whereas, as Si was talking about, it is an iteration of so many things. And it might feel like bold moves, but it builds over time.
And creativity is like any other discipline. Practice is really important. So the more you practice, the more you try new things, the more you go to the well and just kind of dig new ideas out, you build muscles that you don't realize you had creatively. And then you turn around and go, wow, look how far we've come. And that's that thing of doing little and often and starting small and growing. You don't just jump to the point where in your analogy of F1, you're at 200 miles on the corner. because you'd crash and die. So what happens is you go look at a race first and you go, oh, well, that's kind of cool. And then you start off in a regular car and you work your way up, and then you're trained by somebody. So when you hit the corner at 200 miles an hour for the first time, you're kind of close. You've experienced something similar to that already.
Yeah, we missed the plane. That would have been funny if you ended up in New York. No, you know what? I don't think you can regret things. I think you just learn from them. You know, I personally made many mistakes. Sometimes I think about them and cringe.
Yeah.
And know that, okay, that was that wasn't great, but I don't regret it, because what I try and think about is, how do I learn from it? Which sounds a bit stock, but it really is that. And I think personally, I've worked very hard, whether it's through reading the books, meeting people, learning things to adapt and change. It gets us to where we are, and I think we're better for it.
Yeah, I mean, I would regret things if I hadn't changed from them.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, if you are not at your best, or you do something that maybe doesn't work out, as long as you take that as a moment and you say, what was that about? What made that happen? You know, how did you feel about that, and your effect both on you and other people, and sort that out and change. I think that's healthy. But I always think that I get this asked a lot, which is, if you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself? If you could go back in time, what would you do differently? But my feeling is, we're an aggregation of all the experiences we've had in our life to this given moment, good and bad, both personally and professionally. Today, I have everything that I know and everything I've ever done. I can now choose to do something with that. So that's how I look at it. So the good and bad of me, and the things that worked and the things that didn't, means I'm sat here now. And as I'm happy, then I wouldn't want to change that.
The thing we worry about the most is how to stay current and how to adapt for the future. So we're trying to think, you know, we say in the studio, we're almost operating 18 months ahead of where the world sees us, right? Because the things in the studio don't exist in the world. We're making them right now, and we can see a future that doesn't exist for the agency and the studio and the team. And we've chosen to work at scale. So we work with businesses that impact lots of people. So there's a responsibility to that. It feeds into how we think. We think about design systems and how they manifest and create experiences that are delightful in those small moments. And by doing that, we create work that fits into real life. And that's what makes it interesting, because real life is so textured, and we're constantly learning because we work in different industries. So I think it's just a number of things. So the future trajectory is to compete with ourselves, to compete with the future, and continue to chart what we love.
Yeah, you are. That's basically competing with yourself.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Well done, folks.